And well, he's live right now talking about the wildfires that are taking place. And he couldn't be more surrounded by the lack of leadership than I've ever actually seen. And I hope he slaps him around a bit, and I hope we get some answers. And it's not just the firefighters that he's meeting with here. He's met with residents. He's spoken to the American people already. And the dude's been in office for only 2.5 days. It's more than Joey's done in like 4 years. So I'm ready for stuff to get settled here. And I'm ready for Mr. President to put his foot down. So super stoked about this. This is live right now. I wanted to make sure I stream it and get this moment right here because like I mentioned, California is a dumpster fire. Before it was just a dumpster. Now it literally is a dumpster fire because my entire state's on fire right now. Without further ado, this is live, folks. Let's go. That's Karen Bass. I've actually met her before. She's terrible. Hopefully y'all can hear me loud and clear. If you can't, let me know.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. This is an honor to be with you. Unfortunately, it's a very sad period, but what makes you feel good is I met so many of the homeowners, and every one of them, a lot of them, and every one of them said to me they want to rebuild. I said, will you go elsewhere? No, 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 no. It wasn't even like a question. They love the area. They love the people. It's like a family. It's incredible, actually, when you see some things like that. We just left North Carolina, and we had just a similar type of disaster. It was water instead of fire, but boy, that water did damage like I've never seen before. And then you come here and you see this. But the people are so amazing, and your fire department was so beautiful. Every one of them is in perfect physical shape. I said, what do you guys do? They have very high standards, I can tell you. And we took pictures with all of them. But
good to see you, Gail.
Very nicely, they gave us a little helmet. And I said, you wear this, huh? Is this real? And they said, yeah. I said, it's awfully heavy. You have to be very strong to wear that. But that's
the firefighters loved right? that. So they were cracking up when he said that.
But I just want to thank everybody. We're going to be with you. Your governor met us at the plane, and we had a good talk, very, very positive talk. We have to work together to get this really worked out. I don't think you can realize how rough it is, how devastating it is until you see it. I didn't realize. I mean, I saw a lot of bad things on television, but the extent of it, the size of it, we flew over it in a helicopter. We flew a few of the areas, and it is devastation. It's incredible. It's really an incineration. Even some of the chimneys came down, okay? When you have the chimneys come down, that's know that's pretty hot
Best
stuff, and a lot
ever.
of them were down. That was a bad sign, too. But I just want to commiserate, and we're going to celebrate. We'll be back to celebrate one day soon, I hope soon. The federal government standing behind you, 100%. The First Lady and I are in California to express a great love for the people of California. I've had great support always in California. We did very well recently, as you know, relatively speaking, at least I can say. And it's been amazing. I have property in California, not too far away, actually.
Right up the road in
Palos Verdes, a big property. And I've always loved it. I've always loved being here. But we have to grieve for the 28 Californians who have tragically perished. And sadly, you're going to be finding more. And that's going to be very sad because I know people are missing. And when you look at that kind of incineration, you know what's going to happen. You're going to find some more. But with all that we've gone through, I watched your firefighters, and they were really fighting at a big disadvantage. I got to know a lot of them just
Thank you, Outdoor Living.
Incredible people.
Thank you.
They were so happy. They were saying, congratulations, sir. You know, they're thinking about country maybe even before this location that they all love. But I'm pleased to be joined by many of the great California leaders, both Democrat and Republican. And it's an honor to meet some of you I didn't know,
Democrats
but I know every one of you by name.
Suck.
LA County Supervisor Catherine Barger. Thank you, Catherine, very much. Mayor Karen Bass.
She's terrible.
Karen, it's nice to meet you. Representatives Jay Obernolte, Where's Jay? Jay, hi, Jay. It's been a tough period, Jay, right? Vince Fong, Kevin Kiley, Vince, and Kevin.
It's a room
hi.
full of failures,
Hi,
folks. That's what you're looking at.
A man I know very well. I know him too well, actually. And I say that actually with love because he's actually been a great congressman for a long time, and he's a great leader, and he loves the area as much as anybody, right, Daryl? So Daryl, I say, young Kim, congratulations on an excellent career. I appreciate it. Another one I know pretty well is, to put it mildly, is Tom McClintock. And he's been with us for a long time. We have some interesting things going on in Washington. And it's an honor that you guys are here. Thank you, Daryl, very much, Tom. George Whitesides. Good, George. Thanks. It's a great name, too, by the way. Brad Sherman. Oh, I know Brad well. I know Brad, but that's all right. We're on the same side of this one. I know that. We'll work together, Brad, very well. A lot of respect. And Presidential Envoy Rick Grinnell, who's done a fantastic job for me over the years. He was ambassador to Germany, and he was fantastic. So 2.5 weeks ago, over 100-mile-an-hour winds transformed the Palisades fire and other areas, too, into absolute infernos of death and destruction. And this is already the most expensive natural disaster, they say, in American history. That's pretty amazing. The numbers are going to be staggering. Most importantly, we have to get it built, and we have to hopefully find as few people as possible. We have already too many, 28 at least, they say. We're going to work very hard with the mayor, the governor, the supervisor, and everybody, and get the resources behind you. We have some amazing people, and we have some amazing fighters for things like this. I also had the concept of getting some of the best developers in the country. I've had so many calls from developers, and they want to come in. They don't want anything. They just want to come in and help, and they really know how to get things done and get things built. I would ask that the local officials, because we're going to essentially waive all federal permits. We're going to have you go very quickly, because a federal permit can take 10 years.
Important.
We're not going to do that. We don't want to take 10 days. I would.
Democrats love permits, folks, so they love it. They love the power.
Declare this a national emergency. By doing that, I can give you immediate permits. I'd ask that the local permitting process be the same. Some of the people were saying they're going to be forced to wait 18 months for their permits.
Isn't that crazy?
And I don't think you're going to do that. I can't imagine that. So
wow.
They are literally in a position right now they'd like to start tonight, and they'll
let them start tonight. Let them go now.
They just want to start.
Yes.
And they were very concerned with the 18 months, so I'm sure you can get it down to...
House burns down. 18 months, you can maybe get started.
They are ready, Mayor. They are ready to start. I met so many of them. The fire took place. It's nice and cool there now, and they want to start taking the debris. They want to take the debris. They want to do everything. They'll get rid of everything. They're going to do it by their own hand.
Let them in. Let them clean up their own stuff.
Some amazing things happen. So we're waiving the federal permits. Either waive them or give them to you so rapidly it's going to be essentially the same thing, but we're going to try and just waive them, and we'll rely on the local. But the local, I hope, is going to do the same exact thing. They're literally ready to start right away tonight.
Yes, so Mr. President, thank you.
Do almost the same thing, or the same thing would be great. For a building permit, you're going to have to, check things out a little bit.
Folks, what they're doing is they're not allowing people to go on their properties and remove the debris. They're standing around curbside just looking at their freaking lot destroyed, incinerated, gone, kaput. And Karen Bass, this sucker over here, sucker with the government T, is not allowing people to clean up their own stuff. I'm not going to cuss. It's their own stuff. If they want to go in now, wheel in the trash cans, what's left of them, and start putting stuff in the trash can tonight, they should be able to, and they're not allowing them to do it. I'm fired up about it. It's insane.
A lot of them, every single one
Thank
of them.
God Trump is there.
Going to rebuild
here.
I didn't have one person say they're selling or they're leaving or they're disgusted. They love their community, and it's incredible. We even had one from your neck of the woods, right? Do you want to stand up? It was so nice the way she greeted.
Wow, she's really smiling, huh?
She greeted my wife in a very different language, right? And it was very nice to see. And you're staying, and you're going to rebuild, and everything else. Yeah, everybody. So it's really great. So I'm signing an executive order to open up the pumps and valves in the north. We want to get that water pouring down here as quickly as possible and let hundreds of millions of gallons of water flow down into Southern California. And that'll be a big benefit to you. If you don't want it, you're going to tell me, but I can't imagine it. I tell you who does like it is the fire department. When I said that, they were very happy with that. They didn't mind hearing that. But we have a lot of water that is available, and I hope you can work that out among yourselves. But I think this will show that we have to have that water. We have to have that water. You're talking about unlimited water coming up from the Pacific Northwest, even coming up from parts of Canada. And it pours down naturally. It has for a million years. For a million years, it pours down. You'll never run out. You'll never have shortages, and you won't have things like this. And when you do, you'll have a lot of water to put it out. So I'm going to ask that you figure that out. But I really strongly recommended this 7 years ago, and I think I'm going to just do it. If you have big problems, you're going to let me know, but I just can't even imagine it. But we're also surging federal resources and assistance to the state, and California must adopt the common sense policies to prevent fires, and we all know that. We were talking 7 or 8 years ago, I was talking to people from Austria, people from Finland, people that live in forests. One of the gentlemen, one of the top great leaders of Austria said, we don't have forest fires, and we have trees that are actually far more flammable than they have in California, but they literally rake their forest. They take down, if a tree comes down, they take it down. They say you have 18 months. After that, it's like a matchstick. And I know environmentally, some environmental groups like the trees to just melt into the ground, but when they do melt into the ground, they become an inferno. So I think you're going to have to change your ways in terms of that. You have 30 years of leaves, and those leaves are dry as a bone, and they burn. Interestingly, because I was at Paradise, who is the general, right? A long time ago, I was at Paradise. What a beautiful paradise it was. And how is it doing, by the way? Are they rebuilding, right? Remember when he said, you were up here, President. I went there. I never saw anything like it. But you know what amazed me? I'll never forget it. The trees were okay because the trees are loaded with water. They sucked that water out of the ground. And this was an inferno, just like, I would say, no different than this. And it was also the wind that caused a lot of problem. I mean, you had tremendous winds that there's not a lot you're going to do with. You had up to 100-mile-an-hour winds. It's unheard of. But when I was in Paradise, I noticed that the trees, they were dark on the bottom, but they were absolutely living, and they lived because they're soaking wet. But the trees that were on the ground, within 12 to 18 months, they say 18 months at a maximum, you have to cut them up, take them away because they're matchsticks. But we saw that. You saw that with me. I commented at the time. I said, look at this. The house is burned down, and the tree is standing, and it's, other than being a little different color on the bottom, and it went through an inferno. It's amazing. It's soaking wet. So I think they have to do it. It's called management of the floor. And when the gentleman from Austria and also Finland and other countries, they said we manage the forest floor very, very carefully, and we don't have forest fires. They just don't have them. So I'm sure you're going to do the same thing. So there can be no golden age without the Golden State. It's a great state. It's a fantastic place, and we're going to have a big celebration soon. We're going to come back, and we'll come back as much as you need, and we're going to turn it around, and we're going to open the coffers. America wants us to be taken care of This was a horrible thing to watch, and the way it just kept going and going, and then they'd find another area. It was like a genius on the other side. The fire was a genius, the way it kept moving, but we're not going to stand for it. I just met with the Olympic people, and they're all set to do a real job. So we have the Olympics, and I got them. You know, it was very interesting. I made the deal with the Olympics. I was called by your former mayor, and he said, would you call the Olympics? Because I must tell you, the Democrats, as you know, were not calling. They wouldn't do it. There was a bad experience somehow. And I did, and I got along great with the Olympic Committee, and we got the Olympics, and then we got you the World Cup. That one I focused on with Gianni. Gianni was great, the head of it, and so you have that coming. And then we have the 250 years coming up, which is going to be a great celebration. But I'll never forget when I got the Olympics, and then I was president when I got them. I said, oh boy, it's too bad I won't be president. Who knew this was going to happen, right? I said, I won't be president because it would have been the 4 years. And in fact, I'd be retired by 4 days right now, I guess, right? So anyway,
playing golf.
At least I'll be able to celebrate the Olympics, the World Cup, and the 250 years is going to be a very big deal. So we have the three biggest there are, and it was an honor to get. If you have any questions, please let me know. And if you have a statement to make, I'd love to have politically, if you'd like to make a statement. Brad, go ahead.
Mr. President.
Okay, I'll do
Mr. President, thank you for coming
Thank you, Brett.
to the 32nd Congressional District and
Thank you.
making feel most people don't have adequate insurance because they couldn't get it. So one company dropped 1,600 policies just in the last 6 months. We've got 16 times
Gee, I wonder
as
why
much
that is.
property damage here as from Hawaii. And I'm hoping that we get at least 16 times the federal appropriation for the CDBG program that helps people rebuild. And I know you've talked about policies of California that you're not a fan of, but I've been in Congress for 28 years. I really disagree with Louisiana on their abortion policy. I disagree with them on their campaign finance policy. I disagree with North Dakota on their gun policy. And I would never turn to somebody from Louisiana and say, you keep living on your cousin's couch because we're not going to help you rebuild.
The hell's wrong with this
until
lady?
Louisiana agrees with me on a woman's right to choose. So I'm hoping that we can get these funds and that we don't punish individuals for the policies of their state. You can disagree with them, and I think you've got some ideas. I look forward to us listening. Also, on tariffs, I often agree.
So he could be one of the people to blame, right? You've been in office or elected official for 20-something years, and you also allowed this to happen? So why do you still have a job? I mean, there's a reason why these insurance companies pulled out, folks. I don't blame them for doing it. The place is a freaking desert. Everything is freaking brush. You cough the wrong way and there's a freaking spark and a fire. They don't want to do their job. This guy doesn't want to do his job. He doesn't want to do his job. She doesn't want to do her job. And don't get me going on the other side of the table here. They all suck.
Agree with you on tariffs, but how about no tariffs on building materials for the next 3 years?
We'll take a look at that, actually.
Mr. President.
We'll take a look. Mayor, please.
Yes. First of all,
Oh, God, here we go.
take the opportunity to officially welcome you to Los Angeles. Really appreciate you coming, and especially you come just a few days after your inauguration. So I want you to know that your presence here is very much appreciated.
It's what a president looks like.
Let me also say that I know you had an opportunity to see the devastation. You've seen the extreme loss, the grief that people are going through here. And we are 100% committed to getting this neighborhood rebuilt again. You mentioned a couple of things in terms of us expediting. So I signed executive directives right away so that we could cut the red tape, we could get people back building as fast as possible, and we're going to continue.
Why not right now? Why not right now? Like, right. When I say, right, you're right, I'm fired up right now, I'm screaming. I mean, when I say why not right now, it is 5:59 in California where I live. Why is there not dumpsters for people throwing stuff away right now?
Doing that.
Mayor, the one thing is they are saying they will not be allowed to start for 18 months.
That's crazy.
That will not be the case.
Okay, I just hope
That
you're
will
right.
not, you can hold me to it.
There's 4 groups said that. and
No.
That would be, they should
No,
be able
that-
to do it. They should be able to start tonight.
That will not be the
Yes,
case.
there you go.
know, first we have to take care of, to make sure that there's not getting rid of the hazardous waste.
He gets
cleaning
it. He
things
gets
up
it.
So that people can start right away. And just like you said, if somebody had their house was destroyed and they're going to rebuild essentially the same, maybe a little bit longer, a little bit higher, they really shouldn't have to go through much of a process. So I want you to know that we are expediting that. We absolutely need your help. We need the federal help. You're a
You've
builder.
got it, I told you. You will have no permit problem. There will be 0 delay. And as far as I'm concerned, you already have the permits.
And the resource.
I am more worried because I met at least 8 groups of homeowners, and I'm much more worried about the fact that they said it's 18 months exactly, and they were devastated. They want to start now. They want to start removing things. They're not allowed to do it now. And you mentioned hazardous waste. Well, the hazardous waste. What's hazardous waste? I mean, you're going to have to define that. We're going to go through a whole series of
Good point.
questions on determining what's hazardous.
Nope.
I just think you have to allow the people to go on their site and start the process tonight.
And we will.
Okay, good.
You can come back and check.
Mr.
Oh, did you catch that? We will. Quote, you can come back and check. She's a damn liar and she knows it. That's why she added it there at the end. You can come back and check on your lot. Didn't say anything about cleaning it up. She's a freaking scum.
President?
Let the people clean up their stuff, lady. It's not yours, it's theirs.
Yes.
I'm Congressmember Judy Chu, and I represent
Tired of this
the
state,
areas
man.
of Altadena and Pasadena.
Yes.
That's the Eaton fire, and there is a world of hurt there. I know that you've gone to the Palisades.
What's going on,
and you've
Blackbird?
seen the devastation.
It's a kick-ass name, by the way.
But it's apocalyptic in Altadena, and thank goodness I have a partner with Supervisor Catherine Barger in working to help people get back to normal and to rebuild. But right now they have nothing, and there have been 9,500 structures burned. Most of the deaths have occurred in our area with the Eaton fire, and thousands of people are without homes. And these are working people. These are working class people. They are people like Dr. Jackie Jacobs, who was an educator all her life and then finally became the first black administrator of her educational institution, Pasadena
Has to
City
implement
College,
race.
and then retired, now 88 years old, and then her home of 30 years burned in Altadena.
Yeah.
She has nothing. She left with only the clothes on her back. She has nothing. And so
Just going to throw this out here. What does this lady being black have to do with anything? I think her age is actually more relevant. The fact that she's 88 years old, she's had the home for 30 years. I think that's a lot more relevant than telling me that she was like the first black person this, the first black person that. I really don't care. You can be the first Asian person, the first white person. I don't care about your race at all. I think her age was a little bit more relevant. The fact that I don't expect her to go on her lot at 88 years old and pick up 100-pound boulders or cement. This is how my state thinks. They're all a bunch of idiots. And people are voting them in. I was dead serious. If Gavin Newsom gets recalled, should I just sit there and put my name in the hat so that I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican, that we could bring common sense back to this state? Some knucklehead like me and just go, hey, look, let's bring fresh water back. Allow people to go on their own homes because it's their property. Why the hell are we allowing state officials to always tell us what to do? Maybe I should run.
So they need this
I'm not
help,
kidding.
and I just want to
Tired
make
of this,
sure
man.
that you remember the people in Altadena and Pasadena, and that you can come there and see how terrible the devastation has been there so that they can get the help that they need.
Just remember one thing, and I like the way you express yourself beautifully, actually, but I've only been here 3 days, and I'll do a great job. But we had another president, and this took place during the life of another president, not me. But I'm going to be the president that's going to help you fix it.
There you go.
Because he would not have been able to
There
help
you go.
fix it, okay? So we'll We'll take care of it.
Yep.
We'll take care of it. And we'll work
That's
closely.
what a president looks like, folks.
We'll work closely. And I know your community was really devastated, incredibly. So we understand that. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, I'm just going to follow up. Supervisor
Yes, please,
Captain
go ahead.
Barger, and I also represent Altadena. And what I tell people is, people of Altadena are the exact people you talked to when you were running. You've got individuals from every walk of life, and it is actually at one time was the only place African Americans could purchase homes. It was redlined, and so you've got a lot of generational wealth there. And one of the commitments I've made, and
Do you guys see what they do? If you're just joining us, this guy was talking about abortion and gun rights, redlining, basically saying racism was implemented and all this other stuff. The other lady just got done saying, well, the first black educator. Do you see the way that they think? It's really disgusting stuff. We're talking about a freaking fire that devastated people, regardless of race and ethnicity. It turns out that destruction like fire, hurricanes, doesn't give jack bleeps about your race, your age, your gender, who you have sex with. It doesn't care. And so let's stop putting that at the forefront. We start putting the people at the forefront on what they're saying and what they need, which is what Donald Trump's talking about. You don't see Trump talking about race this, all black people that, Asian people this. No, he says, hey, you know what? I talked to a group of 8 people, a group, nothing to do with effing races, and going, hey, you know what? They said they're going to have to get permits after 18 months. They got to wait 18 months. Let them on their properties tonight to fix the stuff. Has nothing to do with race, so stop this crap. And I guarantee you it's going to keep going because, again, I live here, so I'm not living in another state. I live 30, 35 miles south of this stuff. And I've driven home from work before and seen an entire mountain ablaze in years past. So it's not like I'm foreign to wildfires here, and I'm tired of it.
And we've had meetings with some of your people in HUD that you've got there now, to work with them and work with your administration to see how we can help. And I've been pleasantly surprised. I know on HUD we've got some asks that we are going to be working with you on. But more importantly, I just really want to emphasize what Congresswoman Chu said, and that is that these are individuals who are feeling forgotten. And what I tell them is, and when we invited you out here, I told, when I went to the AME church, this president was talking to you when he was running. You understand the difficulty in making ends meet. You understand the high cost of living. And now their biggest fear is that that's going to impact their ability to rebuild. And I have made them this commitment because this is my last term, that for the next 4 years, you talk about 18 months, I've told our county staff that if you're going to get in the way, then get another job. Because we are an all hands on deck.
I like that. I like that. Get the hell out of the way.
And quite frankly, if the bureaucracy can't get out of the way, we'll just roll over it. And we've said that, and we've made it clear. The governor's waived CEQA, which I feel should be completely
abolished,
reformed, if not eliminated. And if it's being eliminated for this,
how are they doing with CEQA?
How are they doing?
How is it? What's been the attitude of the people running that whole situation?
Sucks.
It adds sometimes years on to an application.
Can't do it. Can't.
No, and the governor's
and Coastal Commission also.
He waived that.
We're going to have to override the Coastal Commission because I've dealt with the Coastal Commission for a long time, and they are considered the most difficult in the entire country.
They're trash, Mr. President.
Have them play their games.
They're trash.
And wait 10 years to give somebody a permit. In fact, I'm going to override the Coastal Commission. I'm not going to let them get away with their antics.
Well,
that's just a fucking idiot. It's great. This guy gets it.
Thank you very much.
Sir, I'm going against all my values. When you're done being Mr. President, come be governor. Fix the state, please. Start. You guys, you please understand. I need to speak with you guys really quick. Please understand. I am dead serious. I'm not going extreme here. It is a breath of fresh air to have somebody in here, a common sense, finally, as a leader in my state. You don't understand that you will not find it here at all in Southern California. You'll meet a Republican and stuff like that, but even then, they're kind of wish-washy. Thank God. This is why I voted for him. Thank you, sir.
Mr. President, I just wanted I just want to thank you for your leadership on California water policy. You made it a priority from day one. For those of us in the Central Valley and Northern California, we have catastrophic wildfires as well. California is a wildfire-prone area, so ensuring reliable, stable water supplies is critical. And so your leadership, your executive order, moving more water, maximizing flows throughout the state of California, building more water storage, more conveyance, coordinating the...
It would have a great impact on, I know your area very well. It would have an unbelievable impact on your area.
Absolutely. We just want to thank you for making it a priority.
You know, even beyond the fire stuff, the farms. I was driving up with congressmen a few years ago because they were complaining they had no water.
Yep.
And I was driving up, and you'll see all of this incredible land, but it's absolutely bone dry. And then you'll see little green patches, and the green patches are so beautiful. You know, they have that land, they say it's as good as Iowa farmland, but it has no water. And it's artificial, has no water. They send the water out into the Pacific Ocean. And when we let that water come through your valleys and down to Los Angeles and everything, you're going to have a different place. It's going to be a whole different place. And you guys have to get together and say, gee, we want it. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
I agree, sir.
At least you said that, and I appreciate it.
Whole
Because you
fucking
farmers
state is crazy.
will be able to, instead of having 1 acre out of 100, which is all they have, they'll be able to have 100 acres out of 100. And it's a...
You think Joe can talk like this? You think Joe can talk like this? The guy's sitting there going, hey, you got 1 in 100 acres only able to sit there and produce crop. If you bring in the water, common sense, you'll have 100 more food. If you have more food, that brings down prices. Oh, amazing how this all works.
Among the best, they say it's the best farmland just about in the country, as good as any place there is. So, but you can't, it's no good without water. So that's beyond the fire stuff. But today we're talking about fire, but it's good for everything. So I hope you can lead a group. And Daryl, if you can lead a group, I know how you feel. And, you know, support what I'm doing, because what I'm doing, I guess, is controversial. I don't know what
shouldn't be.
I don't know what's controversial about.
I don't know either, sir.
Of sending millions and millions of gallons of beautiful fresh water from the Pacific Northwest and further up than even that into an area that's bone dry. We have to, you know, I have a house in Beverly Hills, and you get notices every once in a while. They want you to go down to 38 gallons per person or
you
something.
can't even flush
per
your
house,
toilet.
per person. I say, you mean you can only have, 38 gallons sounds like a lot. It's not a lot. And they want to do that every once in a while, and you just think it's ridiculous. When you have like just about as much water as anybody in the country, and we shouldn't be in a position where you have tumbleweed that's dry as a bone, that even tumbleweed can be nice and green and rich and loaded up with water, and it's not going to burn. You don't even have to remove it. It's not going to burn, but it's just dry. I hope you can all get together and say, I'm so happy with the water that's going to be flowing down, because I just don't see anything. They talk about the Delta smelt, which is a fish that's this big, but it is really not, doesn't have to be protected because it's in other areas. It's in numerous other areas. So it doesn't have to be protected. The people of California have to be protected.
Yes, sir. Thank you. What a novel idea.
Mr. President, could I just speak for a moment?
Kevin Kiley, California.
Yes.
First of all, you're absolutely right about the Coastal Commission. I've introduced legislation to rein them in. We've been talking with Rick about this.
They're out of control.
Who's this guy? I like this guy
Absolutely out of
already.
control. It's insane the things they've been getting away with.
I think they thrive on it, actually, if you want to know the truth. It's so ridiculous.
That's right. They even tried to stop SpaceX from launching rockets.
It's true.
But you mentioned your
That'd be
predecessor
sick,
and how
Jeff.
he didn't fix the situation, which is
I like that
absolutely
idea.
right. Not only that, during the Calder fire, which was a few years ago, which was in my district, 600 people lost their homes in a town called Grizzly Flat. He came and he promised that he would help them out, but he broke that promise many times.
Of course he
never
did.
delivered them the individual assistance they were asking for. So
Sounds like Joe.
this has underscored for me the importance of helping the victims, making sure in this situation, in every fire, we get money to the victims, and we make sure that, that nothing stands in the way of that. But I just want to thank you for your focus on bringing sanity to California, water and fire policy. There's no place that needs a revolution in common sense quite like California.
You have so much water. Use it and be happy about it.
Mr. President,
Be happy.
Mr. President, my name is Joel Pollack, and I am a journalist with Breitbart News, but I happen to live in the Pacific Palisades, as do other colleagues. one colleague, John Kahn, wrote the song Fighter, which you played at your campaign rallies. He lost his house and the studio he wrote that song in. We were lucky because I was able to fight the fire on my fence. But when I got to my house, there was no water in the pipes. So I got inside and I picked up the flower vases because I give my wife flowers every week, and there was water there, and we started with that. Then I found my son's bucket of baseballs, and I dumped the baseballs on the ground, and I used the bucket. But there was still no water except for the water in the gutter coming from the burnt homes uphill. So I went to and fro to my gutter and my fence with my bucket. 2 guys showed up in a truck, 2 neighbors. We found 2 more buckets, bucket after bucket after bucket. Many of my neighbors, including some here, tried to fight the fires. They couldn't. We were lucky our house was saved. But we should not have to rely on buckets to put out a fire.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can't stop an 80-mile-per-hour wind or 100-mile-per-hour wind, but there were many things that went wrong here that are basic and small.
And a lot of them are sitting in that room with you, sir. That you want to talk about small, how about voting the right way so you don't have your house burned down? There's an option too. I like this guy.
We did not have traffic police to guide the evacuation, so there was gridlock on Sunset. They've removed the vehicles now, but there were dozens of vehicles that were abandoned by drivers who fled for their lives because there were no traffic cops available. The fire department wasn't pre-deployed, even though there was an extreme wind event coming. And many of my neighbors lost their fire insurance in the days before the blaze. So I asked my neighbors, what would they want to know if I could ask the president a question? And the number one thing was insurance. Can you work with the insurance companies to get people back to where they were before they lost the coverage because of California's regulations? And can you make California change its rules so that when we build again, we can get fire insurance and we don't have to worry? And there's one other point I wanted to make. I really appreciate my congressman advocating for money. We need the money from the federal government. But I also understand Americans who are tired of spending money on California and disasters happen.
Yep, and I live
the
here.
California government passes $50 million to oppose your policies. So they have $50 million for that, but not for moving people into rental homes or helping people relocate or rebuild.
I'll go to illegals.
I would like to ask you to follow the 9/11 Commission precedent and appoint a special master to watch the money, to make sure that every federal dollar that gets spent
Not a
here
bad
is spent
idea.
on fire relief and rebuilding and not on everything else.
Oh, I like that. Okay, I get behind that.
Good idea.
Yes, sir it is.
Here's a good one right over here. I don't know if we all
He
like
said
him.
side eyes
He's
like,
the
"Oh, shit."
ambassador to Germany. He was fantastic. Angela Merkel's happiest day ever in her history, and she had a long history, was the day I removed him from there and put him in charge of a very high level of intelligence and intelligent people, but they were not intelligent enough to fool him. But Rick Grinnell has been fantastic, and he lives here, and I don't know if you want to either think about it or recommend some people,
He's like,
or
no.
get together and recommend some people as a group, which is fine. But Rick
Don't
would
do
be
it, Rick.
somebody that I would certainly consider. And Breitbart is fantastic, by the way. Congratulations on that. And I was so impressed with the firefighters I met before, and they said that, I asked them how many of the pumps, how many of the hydrants were working, and it was a, large percentage of them were not working at all. They had no water, and the ones that did have water didn't have a lot of pressure. And one of the things that was missing, many of you have sprinklers over your living room and your bathroom and your kitchen. I mean, if those sprinklers worked with some pressure, you would have had a much different outcome. So we're going to work on that. I think in terms of that, Rick Grinnell would be good, or Rick, you'll head up a group of people that would recommend a few people to me, maybe a commission, set up a commission. I like it because we're talking about a lot of money. The other one is Kelly Loeffler is now the head of small business.
Look at these round off names.
Small business
It's great.
is big business. It's actually one of the biggest banks in the world. We call it the Small Business Administration. And she's a cabinet member, full cabinet member. She's fantastic. Her husband is the head of the New York Stock Exchange, so they know something about money and other exchanges, actually. Fantastic people. And she wants to come here almost immediately after she gets approved. She wants to come here and open up small business to the area because they have a lot of money. I always say the small business is actually a very big business when you add it all up. And she's going to come here, and it's a very important thing. I want to thank also the First Lady because she wanted to come here. She wanted to be here. She has so many friends, and
she looks
she
good
also
too,
wanted
huh?
to see
Easy,
North
boys,
Carolina,
settle
'cause there was
down.
another
She's
disaster
taken.
that was so bad, so different, but so
Down,
bad.
boy, down.
She just wanted to go there. We said we're going to stop at one, and then we're going to the other.
You don't got to tell me, Barron. I know I live
It was a
here.
depressing day, but in many respects, it was a beautiful day because the spirit is so incredible. North Carolina and here, very, very similar situation. Different, so different and yet so similar, actually. And so I just thought it was very nice. You wanted to be here, and we appreciate that.
Supporting us when she doesn't need to.
Jay? Is that local? You got to do.
He was talking about it was very hard to hear. He was talking about the EPA, and I think he brought up the fact that it was going to take 18 months again. So he's reiterating what Trump said, of where Trump was out boots on the ground today, walking amongst the people, which is nice to see, and talking to them, going, hey, what are you dealing with so we can fix it? Funny enough that you ask, the people that are dealing with the crap, what they want fixed so that you can fix the problem that they're having to deal with because Democrats don't want to do it. So that's what he's talking about.
Got it? I don't want to be the only one to give you permits like in one day, and then I find out that the cities, the towns, and the state is not going to give you permits. And the problem with permits, it only takes one.
Yep.
You might need 7 different permits. You shouldn't have any at this point. You should just let them build. And you're only as good as the weakest one. So if you have one that's going to hold you up, but the others are going to give it to you in 24 hours, it's not going to help you very much. So
he knows about building too.
It's what everybody said.
So he's bringing up 18 months. Again, it's very hard to hear, so I'm helping you kind of. His question was, well, we were told 18 months, and now he's directed towards Karen Bass, which is why everybody's looking at her now.
Well, and let me just tell you that we are going to do everything we can, slashing regulations, expediting everything so that people can begin the process right away.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Disaster Recovery Center on Pico and Westwood.
Thank you, Outdoor Living, for that $5. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for helping us out.
We're bringing our city departments together so that people don't get caught in the loop of going from one room to the next. We want them all to be in the same room so that you can get busy rebuilding ASAP. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. And we will clear the lots. Absolutely. In the city and in the county.
Folks, I just want to point out, the fire has moved on. You could do this right now at 6:22 p.m. Friday, January 24th. Right now. Why aren't you, Karen?
We are working together. Both levels of government are working in unity.
Oh, God. She's still not addressing the 18 months thing he's bringing up.
Yes.
Six months is no good.
No, it's not.
And the number one thing that we are going to do immediately, and you will see this happen,
Let's see.
is to clear out the debris. And we're concerned right now over the weekend because of the potential rain, but we are going to move as fast as we can, but we want you to be safe, and we want you to be back in your homes immediately.
But the people are willing to clean out their own debris. It doesn't
Yes,
cost
and
a
they
lot.
can.
Yes,
You
Mr.
should
President.
let them do it because
No,
by the
they
time you
can do
hire
that.
contractors, it's
Right.
going to be 2 years.
Yep.
If a family...
People are willing to get a dumpster and do it themselves and clean it out.
And they can
There's
do
not that much left. It's all incinerated.
Yes.
And
Yes!
it's just going to take a long time if you do. You can do some of it, but a lot of these people, I know that guy right there that's talking. I know my people.
Thank you, sir.
You'll be on that thing tonight, throwing the stuff away, and your site it'll look perfect within 24 hours, and that's what he wants to do. He doesn't want to wait around for 7 months till the city hires some demolition contract that's going to charge him $25,000 to do his lot. I think you have emergency powers just like I do, and I'm exercising my emergency powers. You have to exercise them also.
I did exercise them.
Because you have a very powerful emergency power, and you can do everything within 24 hours.
Yes. And if individuals want to clear out their property, they can.
Tonight.
Well, yes, but you know that you will be able to go back.
Oh,
Mr. President.
We think within a week.
What? We think within a week. Folks, that's the same thing that these people have been telling us all along in California. Well, we think it's going to cost $1 billion to build. And then it's $1 trillion. Oh, Brad, well, do you have an example? Yeah, high-speed rail. High-speed rail. It's not even built yet. Billions, hundreds of billions of dollars out the window for fucking cement. I'm sorry for cussing, but everybody needed to hear that. No, maybe a week. Sure. Let them in tonight. And yeah, I'm losing my crap because I'm tired of this. And if this isn't the show for you, because you don't want to sit there and listen to somebody scream, we'll go find some other show because this is crap and I'm tired of it. You need to recall her, recall Gavin. I will come in there and I will help you clean up your shit right now. Tired of this. You know what? Can somebody on X, there's 43 people watching on X, and I mean this in all not disregard, all regards. And I'm going to contact, I actually know somebody in the Trump White House. I'm going to text them in a second. Hold on, pause. Let somebody tag Charlie Kirk in this right now. This is, the reason why I bring this up is you remember they called us garbage and Donald Trump got the garbage truck. I mean this in all seriousness. Somebody tag Charlie Kirk right now in this message. Charlie, what we need to get is a bunch of MAGA hats, MAGA supporters up there tonight or by tomorrow morning and start clearing out these lots for these people. I am as serious as a heart attack. My ass will be up there by tomorrow. I got like 3 hours of sleep last night. You could tell I look tired as shit, which is why we have a show. I will be up there tomorrow in a MAGA hat, helping Charlie Kirk and Turning Point USA clean up these lots. Can you imagine having thousands of MAGA Trump supporters up there cleaning up Democrats' lots because Democrats can't get their stuff together? Start tagging them, folks, right now. I'm dead serious. Let's do it. I think that will send a message really quick. I'm going to send out my text right now.
That's a long time a week. I'll be honest. To me, everyone's standing in front of their house.
Tag Charlie Kirk on that. I'll send you guys the X link.
People to be safe.
They're safe. They're safe. You know what? They're not safe. They're not safe now. They're going to be much safer. A week is actually a long time. The way I look at it.
Yes, sir.
I watched hundreds of people standing in front of their lots, and they're not allowed to go in. It's all burned. It's gone. It's done. Nothing's going to happen to it. It's not going to burn anymore. There's nothing to burn. There's almost nothing to burn. And they want to go in. The people are all over the place. They're standing, and I say, why aren't you going in? We're trying to get a permit. And the permit's going to take them, everybody said 18 months. You said 18 months. You said 18 months.
Last night.
And that was last night.
On that. Right.
Mr. President, we're going to be together next week, and during the interim, many of us are involved in, and Tom McClintock, who you know has been an expert on this for years,
That's right.
we are going to be putting conditions on the money that do two things. Require that it be done timely and affordable, and then secondly, that we protect those who will come afterwards. As we speak, there are 6,000 acres burning in my district on the Mexican border. There will be more fires until we include in any disaster relief items which will prevent it or at least mitigate it from happening again. So you're going to see us proposing both of those.
Like water. Little things like water.
For
you know, the party of common sense. See, we're the party of common sense. You're not, in all fairness.
Yes, sir.
We like water to put out fires. It's really quite efficient. All right.
Thank
Sure.
you, Mr. President.
To his face. To his face.
I'm Jay Obernolte. My district is just a bit east of here.
Yep.
And you were talking about the need to better manage our forests and our wildlands to prevent this from happening again. And you were so right about that. Just last year, a couple months ago in October, they put out a fire. The line fire in my district was over twice as big as the Palisades fire. And they put it out less than a mile from my house in an area where we had done thinning, and they stopped the fire, Mr. President, on a fire break that we had built a couple of years ago.
That's right.
We have an area just on the other side of my community that hasn't been thinned in decades because it's being held up by a lawsuit from an environmental group that says we're going to reduce habitat. Mr. President, we need to, in addition to getting resources and boots on the ground to do this treatment, we need to reform our legal system to prevent these lawsuits from tying up these projects for years and years and years. And not to say that the merit shouldn't be heard, but we need to hear them and we need to move on, resolve them.
Is this a state group? State or federal group?
This is a local group, actually, Mr. President, but they have help from the state.
They
and
use the
federal.
environment to make themselves feel good, and they're destroying our country. And you've got to, at some point, you've got to put your foot down. I know exactly what you're talking. You have local and state groups, and you have federal groups too. And you got to fight them the right way, because you'll never, even if the mayor gives, you're going to have a local group come in and sue. You're not allowed to go on your property. They're going to talk about asbestos and every other thing. They want to go on their property, and they want to clean out their property. And you cannot let anything get in their way. And you'll have this place built up quickly, beautiful. It'll be more beautiful than before. And I would do one other thing. I'd give them a 10%, 15% bonus on their house because they went through hell. And they should be allowed to build a little bit, give them a little bit lot line bonus, give them a bonus on size, maybe a little bonus on height. They went through hell. You know, some of them had houses where they were restricted. They have to have an 8-foot ceiling. You let them have a 10-foot ceiling. Let them build a nice house, a nicer house than they had before. But I would give them a 10 or a 15% bonus on their plans. And I think it would be very well received because they'll be able to build a little bit nicer house. Do you like that idea, by the way? Before, but I would give them a 10 or 15%. They deserve it. Because you know what? It's not their fault that this fire took place. This fire took place, could have been stopped. It's not their fault. It's not the homeowner's fault. And I think they should be entitled to a bonus on their house. Okay.
Mr. President.
Sir,
go ahead.
thank you. Some good news from Paradise. We stood together there 6 years ago, along with the governor.
That was so too.
That 3,400 homes have been rebuilt out of the 18,000 lost, and there's 400 more in the wings. And so FEMA was very helpful. Now my colleague who has Altadena here, probably a very similar situation. Clearing the lots, they're probably going to have to clear about a foot worth of soil underneath those foundations to get the toxicity out.
Pete Hegseth was just confirmed. 50-50 tie. J.D. Vance broke the tie.
We did a good job with you people.
And FEMA was extremely helpful.
Yep.
Thank you, Danielle, for the $5. Thank you, MAGA. I love it.
That was when we ran it. FEMA was very good, but now FEMA's not good.
We've got to get them on track. But on the water, thanks so much for your strong efforts on that. Right now, Lake Shasta, which is in my district, is dumping more water than what is coming in. So is Folsom Lake. And those are federal projects that should be building up because we're latter January here. And you can't count on the rain and the snow coming.
Yeah.
If everybody's over at Twitter, also known as obviously X, I keep calling it Twitter, I'm going to post a message that I sent. Can you all retweet it? It is the one about sending supporters to their homes tonight. I sent it to Charlie Kirk. I will post it in the chat, but if you could follow me and retweet it, that would be really, really gracious and helpful. Thank you.
Every year. And so if we don't fill those projects, then my colleague in San Joaquin Valley isn't going to get his water for his farmers. Well, it might be all right up in the north. They aren't going to get it. And then the water needs to go through aqueduct for Southern Cal to refill maybe the San Ynez Reservoir that was empty during this.
You know, you don't even need reservoirs. With the water coming down, you don't need the reservoir. You have so much water, you don't need it. You only have reservoirs because you're trying to hold water.
Needs to go through aqueduct
but you have
for
natural
Cal
water
to
coming
refill
down
maybe the San Ynez Reservoir
along the
that was
coast.
empty.
It's for 1 million years it's been coming. You know that, right?
Yeah.
In addition to that, you have a lot of half pipe. In other words, you have the half
Thank
pipe
you,
that's
guys.
built.
Thank you for helping.
And it hasn't been
At least
used.
maybe
You
he'll
see, it's
get
bone
noticed
dry.
on it.
No water's been in that half pipe for years and years. It was closed up years ago.
Had the reservoir,
It's already
sorry.
there. Yeah.
Had
You
the
got it, you
reservoir
got it.
above Santa Palisades been full, they wouldn't have run out of water in a few hours. It would have gone for at least a few days with 40 acre feet out of 600,000
That
acre
reservoir's
feet.
been empty for a long time.
Yep.
It shouldn't have been empty. Okay. Any other
Thank you.
questions? Yeah, please.
Mr. President, my name is Tracy Park. I represent the people of the Pacific Palisades on the LA City Council. I wanted to thank you for your loyal support to our military, our police officers, and especially our firefighters.
There you go. There you go. The boys are in the room.
My top priority going forward is to get these men and women home as soon as possible and open up the pathway to begin their rebuilding process. It was the Army Corps of Engineers who announced last night that it would be 18 months. I am fully committed to doing my part on the ground with our state agencies and our city and our county partners to speed this up.
Good.
I just ask for your ongoing partnership with FEMA and the EPA and our other federal agencies to make sure that we have a commitment across all layers of government to get these people back home. Thank you, sir.
I do. Thank you very much. It's well said. I do have to say FEMA is a big disappointment. We had it working well. We had great people, but FEMA's not good anymore. What FEMA did in North Carolina, they still haven't even gone to certain areas. They don't know what they're doing. And I say, you don't need FEMA. You need a good state government. And when you have a problem in Los Angeles or when you have a problem even in the state of California, you have your own, essentially, FEMA. You fix it yourself. You don't have somebody coming in from a state where they have no idea, like Florida. They come in from hurricanes. They have people staying in Alaska. And now they see, oh, this is very nice. But by the time they get familiar with it, they don't know anything. The FEMA is a very expensive, in my opinion, mostly failed situation. We had great people. We did some great jobs. But each state should take care of their problem and get money from the federal government. It would be so much better, so much more efficient. So we're looking at that because we have had, and you're going to have problems with FEMA too. You've already had problems with FEMA. FEMA doesn't even show up. It takes weeks before they even show up. And what happens is the state then relies on FEMA, and nobody does anything because FEMA doesn't show up. So it's not a good situation. So we'll make some recommendations on that. But you have to push like hell to get the permits because I'm just hearing things that I don't like to hear. I think you're not going to get your permits as fast as people are saying. We have to get them. And Mayor, if I can help you at all in that regard, you'll let me know. But you're going to have all your federal permits. That's going to be the easy part, which, by the way, is by far the hardest part. You know who controls your water is Department of Commerce, and I already have that approval. And that's usually a very long process, but that's the hard part was the federal, but we already have that done. So anything I can do, please let me know. Please, go ahead. You lost all your schools. You lost your 4 schools? Were they completely burned down, the schools? Wow. All of them? All of them? No, you can't. No.
That's right.
Well, I'm going to ask Rick to set, I think right from this table, you might put a couple of the fire guys back there on that I just met, okay?
Not a bad idea.
They're really good, but get a group and figure out how we can do the processing faster.
Mr. President, if I can just defend FEMA a little bit.
Yeah.
They brought thousands of people in. I don't know how they're doing in other states. They're doing a good job for us here. They've got a huge center that's open from 9 in the morning till 8 at night. But also, when you have a disaster this
guy's an
size,
idiot.
you need to be able to deploy thousands of people, which they've been able to do. Now, California, if we did it on our own, maybe we'd have thousands of people.
You do.
But if Rhode Island has a Palisades disaster, are they then supposed to keep
How many people do you have in California? 36? How many million? How many million people do you have?
But
you have 40 million people. You're not going to get a few thousand people? The problem with FEMA is they come from all over the country. They end up in arguments with your people from California because they want to do it a totally different way.
Thank you, Tarbox. I appreciate that. A cup of
I
coffee.
can live
Thank you
either
so
way,
much.
but you haven't gotten very much done with FEMA and all you have to do is look at
Appreciate
North
that, Jason.
Carolina. It's one of the great disasters of all time.
And Mr. President, you can't have Rhode Island maintain a staff of thousands and thousands of people waiting to see if they have a disaster.
You know who came in and fixed North Carolina or the process? Other states, people from all over the country came. And you have the same thing. You have a lot of people from all over the country. Getting the people is not a problem. Getting the organization's a big problem. FEMA's incompetently run, and it costs about 3 times more than it should cost.
I'm hoping
we
that
can
you
spend
can get
money
a
on
better run.
schools instead of giving money to bureaucracy. It takes you so much longer.
Mr. President,
It takes you so much longer.
FEMA for helping our people.
FEMA has a standard.
Folks, the guy that's talking now, if you're just joining us, has been an elected official for 20-something years and is one of the reasons the state's being driven into the ground. And then we're supposed to sit here and listen to this guy as if he has an actual clue on what the hell he's talking about. You, sir, should be gone. He should be gone. This guy should be gone. She should be gone. The freaking LA Fire Department chief should be gone, who's on the right-hand side of us. Half the table on the right hand should be gone. These idiots don't know anything. Oh, man, FEMA this, FEMA this. You have 40 million people in my state. You can't get a few thousand. That's why I'm trying to get a hold of Charlie Kirk here and get the few thousand people in MAGA hats. Can you imagine the image? Can you imagine the news? Seeing people in MAGA hats, not a single Democrat in sight cleaning up these lots. The people in MAGA hats everywhere, a sea of red. My ass will be up there tomorrow if we can get hold of Charlie Kirk here. I'm trying on X. I'm trying to make a voice, folks, but I need your help to do it. Let's get Charlie Kirk, Turning Point USA. Folks, Huntington Beach has a sea of MAGA supporters. We could be out there.
Brad, and I'm a builder. I was a very good builder. FEMA has
we
a
could do it,
standard
folks. We could do this.
So slow. They want permit on permit on permit, and then they want permits on top of that.
Yeah, gals too. I know, Misha. Calm down.
FEMA, you'll be here for a long time. What I'm saying is get the city, get the state to give you immediate 24-hour permits. These people are going to build their own homes. They're going to get them built fast. How many of the people, could I ask you one question? How many of the people,
Sure. Yes, Mr.
what are
President.
people going to do for financing? What are people going to do? How many people can build a home, a percentage-wise, like where they don't have to go out and get funds?
Detailed
Some
question.
people are
Thank
just
you.
not going to be able to rebuild their home because they have a beautiful home, but they don't have cash, right? So what are people looking to do in that case? You're going to have a big percentage, I would assume, Brad, like that. What are they going to do? Go ahead.
Mr. President, without your help, they're only going to get $43,000 from the federal government.
He wasn't asking you. He was asking this guy who actually lives here. Do you notice that he was asking a detailed question? Financing. Hey, give me a percentage of what's going on here. Do you know Democrats just sit there and they go, hey, this idea sounds good. Let's go with it. Without knowing the details of it. High-speed rail, giving homeless people syringes so they can keep their addiction going. That's a real thing that's happening, by the way. Giving alcohol to homeless people so they don't impact the hospitals. That's also happening. Because I think it's a great idea to help people's addictions. These people are off the reservation. He wasn't asking you. You suck. You've been an elected official. You don't know what's going on right now. This guy's trying to get his home rebuilt.
Government, even if they have a half
Well,
million dollar
you did something, Brad, where every insurance company in the country left California. That's why you have no insurance, because you made it so impossible. People that think like you made it so impossible. And you know,
Brad, me?
Every insurance company.
I don't know what
I'll
you
tell
know
you this.
about my thinking.
I've never seen a state where almost nobody has insurance. And I said, what happened? And they said like 6 months ago they all left. And 2 years ago, they had different, quadrants, but they left. And
God,
you have
he's
very little
good.
Insurance here. I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
We had a lot of insurance companies pull out, but I have no
And
idea.
the insurance companies actually have been warning you. Now, I'm not a big fan of insurance companies, okay? They have their big drawbacks too, but the insurance company, I read the papers very well, and, they've been warning California for a long time. They've also been saying, we want water. You don't have water. You're supposed to get fire insurance. And the insurance company goes, you don't have any water in your fire hydrants. So it's a tough situation. I'm not a big fan of insurance companies. I get that.
They're pulling out of Florida
Brad,
as
you
well.
lost your insurance company 6 months ago because the state wouldn't give them what they had to have.
There you go.
And, Mr. President,
There you
I
go.
remember the
Go ahead,
Speaker-
please. Go ahead.
I'm Ed Ring from the California Policy Center, and in the matter of prevention of fires, in the matter of the cost of rebuilding, both of which affect insurance rates, I think one, to support something one of the other participants said, a reform you might consider, and it could be an act of Congress, is that the losers in environmentalist lawsuits pays the legal fees. And I think that would be a big step in the right direction.
Oh, you mean loser pays. I love that. Well, if you did loser pays, you could cut your courts in you could cut them down about 90%. Loser pays. You know what would also benefit? Medical. If you had loser pays for medical, your medical costs would go down by 50%.
You think Joe knows what loser pay is? This is our president, baby. It's nice. It's refreshing. It's exciting. I'm hyped up. Well, I'm pissed because the Democrats have ran this state into the ground, and I've lived here my entire life. But it's nice to have a president step foot in and slap him around a little bit and have a little bit of common sense. God, thank you, sir. Thank you. So I voted for you. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
That's an interesting thing. I bring that up, but the only problem? The strongest lobby in the world, you know what it is? The lawyer lobby. So when you go back to your local congressman, hello, congressman, how about going against the lawyers for a little while? No, loser pay is, very good. In Europe, they use it in certain parts of Europe, and they have very little litigations, right? Yes, please.
Mr. President, I represent the 27th Congressional District, which is on the north side of the North San Fernando Valley through Santa Clarita and Lancaster and Palmdale. I just wanted to tell you a story of heroism. Yesterday, we had another big fire. We had several big fires across, and this fire was moving fast. It was moving 1,000 feet per minute. But what these heroes did, the firefighters and the sheriffs and the law enforcement officials, they mobilized 4,000 people within about 6 hours. They mobilized 20 air attack aircraft and helicopters, and they saved the city of Castaic. And so I just wanted to ask you to join us in recognizing those amazing heroes.
I love that.
I think the thing that we all, and I'm very encouraged by your words, we're all here to help the folks here.
Yep,
right?
That's right.
And your words about building quickly, building well, but building quickly is what I think we are all here to do. And I think if we can take that spirit out of today, it is really important that you and your wife are here. If we can take that spirit, we're going to help these people as quickly as possible, get them back on their feet, and recreate these amazing communities that we have.
You want to know why I know that they're not serious about it? All this stuff is because, they're not allowing anything to happen tonight or tomorrow or for a week or so. Nothing. They should all be sitting there looking into the camera and going, we're going to allow you folks to start cleaning up your homes tonight. And matter of fact, I am going to ask that we start delivering dumpsters tonight. But they won't do it. They won't do it. Because they're Democrats. They don't care. They don't care.
You'll take the word spirit, such a great word, such an important word. You'll take their guts away. You'll take their spirit away if you don't give them the permits. You're going to take their guts. They're going to say, all of a sudden they'll start looking for houses, and your whole thing is going to blow up on you. These people want to get going. This place can go quickly, but you don't want to take their spirit away, and that will take their spirit away. So you're 100% right. Yes, sir. Thank you. Right. That's right. Oh, you noticed that. Oh, look at this guy. He studies that. No, Bank of America, they're not nice. Sounds very nice. The Bank of America, they're not nice. Well, we're doing numbers on banks, yeah. We're doing it. Is that Leonard Boxer next to you? Leonard? Huh? We have Leonard, oh, there's Skip. I have them all here, huh? Look at Skip. I haven't seen you in a long time. You used to be a very good golfer. You still a good golfer? Huh? And he's a good guy, too. Hi, Skip. You got them all, huh? Got Leonard, Skip. Thank you. Go ahead, please.
Mr. President, I just wanted to say Paradise is coming back because of the help that you gave us. And we really want to thank you for that. And that's why we're here also, is because we want to help our
we did a good job with Paradise, didn't we? What a fire that was.
It was a terrible
we
fire.
had many people were found, and only the certain type of German Shepherd could even find it, right? You could not tell. The dog would go right up. There's the body. And the incineration was so horrible. So horrible.
And when we see the same devastation.
So Paradise is going good, right?
It's going good. We're coming back.
Yeah,
and it's because of the help, and we want to help our brothers and sisters here in LA to come back too. And I know that's what you're going to do. And so we really appreciate that. But from Paradise to the Palisades, the problem is fuel. It's the fuel, the vegetation, the dry grasses, the chaparral. There's a tremendous amount of it, and we're not.
You got to remove it. You got to remove it, and you got to remove it, and you got to do the other things that we've said 10 times. I mean, you got to remove it. You just can't have it. I see it even now. I saw the fire. We flew over it, and you got a lot of dry stuff. It's bone dry.
And the environmental.
And I predicted this 7 years ago. I said,
yes, you did, sir.
Get it done.
Yes, you did.
And everybody laughed. They thought it was. I said, forest management. They thought it was such a funny term. Ha ha ha! That's so funny. Now it's not funny anymore.
Nope.
We were right.
It's number one cause of these fires. Number one cause.
You wouldn't have any fires.
Right. And if we just remove those environmental regulations, NEPA, CEQA at the state level, that get in the way of us doing those projects.
It's all a con job. You know that, right? It's all
Berry
a
Creek,
big con
the
job.
town of Berry Creek in my district.
Yeah.
CEQA stopped them from doing a fuel reduction project. They said 18 months. That's where 18 months comes from, because at least 18 months on a CEQA review. That community is no longer here today because of the North Complex fire. We didn't build that project. We need to make sure that never happens again. We have to stop those things from happening so we don't have.
Well, it will happen here
Palisades.
Unless you're very strong as a group of people and demand that you have the right to go onto your property and start the process immediately,
property.
like tomorrow. How many people did I see on your street where they're standing in front of their lot? The house there's really not much demolition. It's incinerated, right? So it's not like a lot of stuff. It's not like you have 3 stories worth of concrete. It's all incinerated. And all of the people were standing there, and they weren't allowed to even go onto their lot. You got to let them do. If you can do that, you're going to see this thing go like wildfire. And if you don't, you're going to have those lots for years, because people are going to leave. They're going to, as much as you love your location and your place, and you're in the real estate business, as much as you love your location and your site, your housing sites, they're going to leave. They're going to leave. They're going to find other things. They're not going to put up with it. They have spirit now, but in a year from now, they won't have spirit if you don't let them go. So just harness it. Well, I think, look, I'm going to give you everything you want. I'm going to give you more than any president would have ever given you. If most presidents wouldn't be here, number one. They certainly wouldn't be here after 3 days. They would not be here. I can tell you that. And we're going to override all of permitting. The only thing you have to do is get your state people, which should be very easy, because that's literally so easy to do. And I know the mayor, and I know she's working very hard, but she's got very powerful emergency, it's called an emergency petition, and you can petition very quickly. And I just hope you can give them, because it's very rare that the federal government would be ahead of the state government, because the federal permits are much tougher. But you essentially already have your permits. You can just go and go wild. Brad, as soon as you can get those permits, whatever you can do, if you can put that genius of yours to work on getting a permit, you'll be doing much better than some of the other things you've said, okay? But we do appreciate you. So, Mayor, could I just leave you with that? It's a big permitting deal. We're going to be back, and I'm going to put Rick in charge of just representing me for a period of time until we figure out exactly who we want to do it, whether we want a commission or an individual. You know, if you have a good individual, if you have a really good individual, and they are rare, but if you have a really good individual,
Poor Rick
it's
just
always
shows
better
up.
than a commission.
Now he has a new job.
Because the commission gets bogged down a little bit, Daryl, right? So it's if you had the right individual, and I know we do. We have a lot of great individuals in this community, but it's an honor to be with you. It was an honor to be with your firemen before and your policemen. We met some great people, and these are people that are leaders, and they're just fantastic. It's a fantastic group of people, and they were very brave. I want to tell you, your fire people are so well thought of. You had big fires, and it was hard to put them out, but boy, were they brave. They were really fighting against a tough thing, and everybody in the country knows it. Everybody in the country knows it. And it was an honor to be with you. So I'll be back, and we'll work very hard. And I hope you guys can start doing your cleanup starting like tomorrow at around 12 o'clock, okay? Thank you all very much. Thank you very much.
What a president looks like, folks. That is what a president looks like. Again, couldn't be happier than to share this evening with all of you. I saw this live going on while I was in the living room. I said, you know what? Why am I not live streaming this? Why am I not covering? I live here. This seems like pretty good content. So we have that going on. We also have Pete Hegseth has officially been confirmed as the Department of Defense Secretary of Defense, Mr. Secretary. That is huge and breaking news that's happening right now. J.D. Vance was the one that ultimately broke the tie. We might as well bring that up right now before we head out here. Pete Hegseth confirmed to lead Pentagon after J.D. Vance, VP Vance, cast tie breaking vote. Just once again, we're not just Democrats, but mostly Republicans. Either ones can't really get their ish in line and do what's right and what's correct for this country. So at least we got that, and that's probably going to be the hardest nomination. We also have Tulsi Gabbard. Now, the reason why we need Tulsi Gabbard is because she's going to be the head of the National Intelligence, I believe, if I have that correctly. And I want those JFK files. So I need her in as quickly as possible, because those JFK files, the his brother, and then the MLK files, I want released because I want to know what really went down. But if you're watching us over at Twitter, if you're watching us over at Rumble or YouTube, we're on all platforms. We also have a show weekdays, Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, I wasn't live this morning because, well, quite frankly, I didn't get home till 2:30 in the morning from work. And then normally I have to wake up at 4:30 in the morning to do the show. And I didn't have time to prepare because I went from work straight to work. And, well, I needed to sleep. I think you guys can understand I was dogging it today. And mind you, I am actually still really tired. I'm probably going to go to bed here in a little bit. So I might be live tomorrow. There's so much news going on. Who knows what's going to happen here? But always appreciate everybody that supported the show. Thank you for all the donations over at Rumble and YouTube. You guys keep things going. We're going to hold off on advertising until February. Our last campaign just ended on the 21st. It got us over 1,000 subscribers. So we're going to be putting more money into advertising starting February 1st and letting that run. So all your donations are going to go to advertising, which helps us grow here. And that's really the only way we're going to hit 100,000, because right now YouTube is not promoting us whatsoever. So greatly appreciate you guys. Have a lovely week, and we'll be back here tomorrow on the Bald Brad Show. Here's a question. How do you feel about the head of Secret Service? I kind of try to listen to other people that are smarter than me and have that position, like Dan Bongino. Dan said he's a good guy, but not the right guy for the position. And I trust Dan's opinion on a lot of things. I listen to him quite a bit. Our audience does flow into Dan's audience. We have kind of an overlap, and our shows kind of ran the same. We have the same style of thinking. So I got to go with what he says. He knows more than I do. I'm going to say it's probably not the greatest pick. And I also kind of followed it up on one of the live streams earlier this week where I said, you wouldn't need private security if he was the right guy for the job. Now, you could want that extra layer of private security just for peace of mind. That could be there too, but it also is kind of a little bit of a tell going, well, I can't really fully trust these guys, so I need my own private security. That's how I kind of take it. But Look, either way, I'm glad that he got somebody that he feels comfortable is going to protect him. I think that's also what's important. So he can rest assured that he's going to be safe. He has his private security. And, well, we need him to be safe because he has to run this country. And maybe some states here coming up, because clearly Democrats can't run my state of California. Well, with that being said, I'm going to head out here tonight, folks. I hope all of you have a lovely weekend. And thank you for joining me as always. And I'll see you next time here on The Bald Brad Show. Take care, Patriots.